Hey, Hostin never stops ripping on the cops.
As a mother of black children, I know that black boys are not given the presumption of innocence and the presumption.
Sunny Host thought she had the moral high ground. On The View, she shared a story about her all-white neighborhood and taking her child to the police to protect him from harassment while preparing for the Junior Olympics. The audience cheered, the other hosts nodded, and support exploded on Twitter. Tyrus and Greg Gutfeld later got hold of the clip. What followed wasn't just a response, it was obliteration. Tyrus attacked immediately, calling it a show, a fake, and a fraud under the guise of political victimhood. The internet went wild. Tonight, I'll examine Sunny's statements, explain why an investigation refuted them, and show how Tyrus exposed the larger issue of wealthy liberals claiming persecution while living in luxury. Tragically, she persisted even as her supporters made things worse. Sunny, a former federal prosecutor and co-host of The View, often presents herself as a champion of marginalized communities, building her brand on calling out unfairness, demanding accountability, and lecturing America. Yet the details reveal a different story: persecution disguised as privilege. It all began with a recent episode discussing The Perfect Neighbor, a Netflix film about Ajik Owen's tragic death in 2023.
Just a group of cops, just a little herd of policemen just walk around a white neighborhood looking for people like...
In Florida, a black woman was shot by a white neighbor after being confronted for throwing objects and allegedly abusing Owen's children with racial slurs. A serious story that deserves careful attention. Hostin was eager to share her personal experience, reflecting concerns many black parents genuinely face. She said, "As a mother of black children, I know that black boys are not given the presumption of innocence in youth." She added that she had to go to her local police because her son, training for the Junior Olympics, was running around an all-white neighborhood. She told them, "This is my son. Don't disturb him. Don't stop him." The message was clear. Local police and neighbors were so biased, she had to act to protect him from harassment. Social media praised her courage, but questions soon arose. Was this account entirely true? Hostin never claimed the cops had harassed her son.
Of black children, I know that black boys are not given the presumption of innocence and the presumption of youth. I have had to be in the position where I have gone to my local police department because I know my son is going to be training for the Junior Olympics, running around the neighborhood in an all-white neighborhood, and I have brought him to the police and said, "He belongs to me. This is my son. Do not harass him. Do not stop him."
Her neighbors had reported him to the police, but she never mentioned it. He was never stopped, frightened, or questioned. The story's focus was prevention. She acted because she feared something might happen. That's not evidence of racism, but of assumption. And where does she live? Sunny Host resides in a very affluent area with high-value homes, virtually no violence, and a community where a child jogging for the Olympics would be welcomed, not feared. The idea that her athletic son could be mistaken for a criminal in broad daylight in one of the safest towns is statistically absurd. What was she really doing? Tyrus and Gutfeld didn't just dismiss her account, they analyzed it sharply. Greg Gutfeld called it phony, arguing that she used her position to portray her privileged, safe neighborhood as a hub of racial profiling. If your son is training for the Junior Olympics and you can afford a white-only area, you are privileged, not oppressed. Misrepresenting this diminishes the experiences of those facing real structural obstacles. Then Tyrus took over, exposing the deeper dishonesty. He argued that people like Host use race as both shield and sword, evading critique while attacking challengers. Her story wasn't about protecting her child, but performing victimhood for a wealthy audience. Tyrus emphasized that this framing harms real racial victims. False alarms in secure neighborhoods make it harder to take genuine cases seriously. By turning serious issues into political spectacle, it undermines everyone's understanding. He also noted the class factor. Host leads a lavish lifestyle, and her son races through tree-lined alleys, not dangerous streets, in an area with median home prices that would shock most Americans.
Is feeling guilty about being a successful black lady who lives with white people, so she has to play.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Successful slave-owning black woman. Get it right.
Get it right, everyone. It's absurd to think her child would be profiled by local police familiar with the area. And if she truly believed it, why stay there? Why not move somewhere she felt safe? The question remains unanswered because the answer exposes the narrative. Hostin doesn't appear to genuinely believe racism exists in her community. She shaped her story to fit the posture of a prepared victim. Online reactions were mixed, as expected. Her followers claimed Tyrus and Gutfeld minimized legitimate concerns of Black parents, arguing that even if nothing happened, her worries were valid due to systemic discrimination. They also said Tyrus betrayed his own community by siding with conservatives, but that defense misses the point. It confuses real concerns with fabricated persecution. Black men are often over-policed, and parental worry is legitimate, but that doesn't justify inventing a scenario, presenting it as real, and unfairly accusing an entire community without evidence. Critics noted that Hostin never said her son was harassed, never mentioned neighbor issues, and never claimed police stopped him. The story hinges entirely on her assumption, revealing more about her biases than anyone else's. Ironic, a critic remarked. She believes her white neighbors hold the worst stereotypes about her. The core problem is that Hostin projected bias onto innocent people while casting herself as the victim. Others highlighted the absurdity of her approach. Put it away, they advised. Put the baton down, Johnson. If you want, I can now combine all your previous submissions into one polished, cohesive, you survived this time, child. If she truly believed local police were so racist, they would harass her son for running. Why bring him before them at all? Wouldn't that make him more of a target? Wouldn't she avoid social interaction entirely? The logic falls apart when the goal is narrative over fact. But that didn't stop the story. Tyrus didn't let it slide. In the days after the show, stepped up, arguing that people like Host exploit their platforms to sow discord rather than foster cooperation. He said she fabricates outrage to stay relevant instead of calling out real injustice, and criticized wealthy, protected elites for treating the public, especially the Black community, as theatrical victims. The point is hard to ignore. Hostin earns millions, lives in comfort far beyond most Americans, and her son has opportunities most children do not. Yet she frames her privilege as unfair rather than using it to uplift others. This is not advocacy, it's exploitation. The reaction extended beyond Gutfeld. Commenters poured in, with Stacey Washington of Outkick saying she wanted to confront Hostin in person. Conservative headlines highlighted her warning to police in an all-white neighborhood, asking, "What harassment?" Liberal blogs offered weak defenses, leaning on cliches like, "You don't understand what Black mothers go through," to silence criticism. Some, like Tyrus, argued that Hostin's story prevents genuine conversations about race. Black commentators noted that wealthy Black elites often don't represent working-class families who face real profiling. The issue goes beyond Host herself. She's part of a media class that thrives on division, driven by outrage, constantly generating content to claim moral authority and creating examples when real-world ones fail.
They're like, put it away, put the baton away, Johnson. You got away this time, kid, because if you weren't Sonny Hostin.
Using a child playing in a secure neighborhood as proof of institutional prejudice ignores context, evidence, and common sense, and encourages others to do the same. If they follow suit, you label them racist. Tyrus broke that cycle. He challenged the story, demanded proof, and exposed the deception. Because Hostin was Black, it was harder for her fans to dismiss him as a simple-minded white conservative, but they tried anyway, calling him a traitor, a sellout, or a token. Yet none offered an explanation for why Host's account should be accepted without evidence. None could defend claims based purely on speculation. Tyrus, with information from Gutfeld, highlighted that Hostin's neighborhood has almost no crime. Police there interact cautiously with residents, not suspiciously. He emphasized how absurd it is for a federal prosecutor, aware of the burden of proof, to present serious claims without supporting evidence. He connected this to the broader problem: elite liberals claiming oppression while the public faces real struggles. The video went viral across social media, YouTube, and Rumble. Conservatives cheered, liberals were incensed, and many in the middle nodded in agreement. The message was clear: stop lying, stop performing, and don't use race as an excuse. If something happened, report it truthfully. If not, don't invent it. Hostin never offered a clear response. The View's silence was telling because addressing it would mean defending the indefensible, admitting her son was unharmed, and acknowledging her baseless fears about neighbors and police. At best, her story was misleading.
I saw last night, and were you here when Sonny came in with her son?
Yeah.
And they'll find out it never happened.
It never happened, and you're right. But she's inferring that they are reflexively racist.
Right.
Now, I don't know where she lives. The View tapes in New York, right?
You're attacking a Black woman. The last line of defense for a story that can't stand on its own became her supporters' refrain. But as Tyrus pointed out, lying and hiding behind identity is unacceptable. You don't earn applause by playing the victim. You cannot dodge responsibility using race as an excuse, nor degrade the intelligence of millions of viewers. That was the heart of the issue. Sunny Hostin's assumptions, performance, and projections mattered more than the existence of racism or black parents' legitimate concerns. She had nothing to defend when called out. Tyrus's comment, "This kind of behavior makes real racism harder to fight," shifted the conversation entirely. Stories like Hostin's, based on speculation rather than facts, cause audiences to disengage, dismissing every claim as exaggerated, which is unfair to actual victims. The lesson is simple. Be honest. If your son was harassed, provide details, names, and accountability. Assuming prejudice based on stereotypes or using your platform to disparage others achieves nothing. Recognition cannot come from a fabricated problem. Tyrus knew it. Gutfeld knew it. Millions.
They lie. They say the stupidest. This is like people who name drop someone like, yo, I was in the room with Enrico Palazzi and I taught him how to sing, and they just say,
Yeah.
she say, cops. Just a group of cops, just a little herd of policemen just walk around a white neighborhood looking for people like me.
Yeah. What is her name? I mean, come on, Kat. Her neighborhood is like, you know where she lives.
Okay, but also, okay, look, I'm not a little black boy, all right?
What?
But so can't speak for that. But speaking for myself, if I were out and I had a friend drag me up to the cops and be like, just so you know, if you see her out, she's not doing anything illegal. I'd be like, bro, what the
The viewers saw it. The only ones not directly involved were those who created the story. Acknowledging Hostin's misstep means recognizing a perspective built on presumptions, not reality. Performative wokeness is acting. People who see bias in every shadow and judge solely by skin color may, in fact, be the real problem. Tyrus spoke this truth openly on national television. That is why the episode resonated, not because it was harsh, but because it was accurate. In today's media landscape, truth is revolutionary. Tyrus's opposition wasn't personal. It was about truth versus narrative, evidence versus assumption, and accountability versus identity politics. Hostin's account failed. Tyrus exposed it. Online, people pick sides based on honesty or ideology. If calling it a hoax upset you, ask yourself why. Are you defending truth or tribe? Click subscribe for exclusive perspectives, and if you treat victimhood as a commodity, share your strongest argument. Let's be truthful.